misrepresentation, mistruths, half-truths, and intentionally misleading statements. At this point, I honestly think the mainstream media is lying just to see what they can get away with. I released a pretty raw rant about this earlier, but here are some more specifics about this press briefing that President Trump held today and the consequential flood of lies that we've been seeing from the media, which is really nothing new. So the extremely hyperbolic and intentionally misleading headline I'm seeing everywhere. I'm seeing it on NBC, CNN, all these mainstream news outlets, is that President Trump is threatening to withhold the vaccine from New York. So first of all, I need to emphasize, again, this is just a straightforward lie. They know what they're doing. That's why, as I say over and over again, it's always important to find original sources and watch them in their entirety. Now I'm going to show you the source of the lie and why it's wrong. But first of all, I'm not sure I can actually show the video, but here's a transcript of the entire speech from whitehouse.gov. And as you can see right here in the center, highlighted, this is a direct quote from that speech in reference to providing the vaccine to New York. He says, "But we're ready to provide it as soon as they let us know that they'll actually use it. And again, it's a very safe and a great vaccine." He's not threatening to withhold it, saying, let us know when you're ready to use it. And the reason he says that is because Governor Cuomo previously had expressed skepticism over the vaccine and implied that he would not use any vaccine or endorse any vaccine that the Trump administration put out. So if we scroll up to a little bit earlier in the speech, that's where the lie comes from, and they're twisting the words, and it's insane how far they twist them, and they can still pretend like they have some standard of journalism. First, I'm going to take you back to what this is in reference to, where it's coming from. This is an article from The Hill, which, as I said in the last video, tends to be usually an unbiased source of news, unlike the rest of mainstream media. So here you can see what Cuomo is saying previously about any vaccine the Trump administration would release. He says he's not that confident in the approval process. He says he doesn't believe the people are that confident. And he says, "I think it's going to be a very skeptical American public about taking the vaccine, and they should be." So Cuomo is saying that people should be skeptical about taking the vaccine, that they should be skeptical about anything the Trump administration puts out, that they should be skeptical about taking a vaccine because it's produced by the Trump administration. He also says, "I believe all across the country you're going to need someone other than this FDA and this CDC saying it's safe." So again, he's implying that he does not believe in the vaccine, he doesn't want to take it. He's saying he's not confident in the vaccine, and he's really heavily implying, and there might be other interviews, but he's really heavily implying that he doesn't trust it. So that's what we're seeing here, and that's what Trump was talking about in this part of the speech. So we move on. Trump does not threat to withhold the vaccine. He simply says, "We won't be delivering it to New York until we have authorization to do so." And that's part of the process. The federal government does not have absolute power over the states. They will offer the states these vaccines, and the states will accept them. This whole part of the speech is about him worrying that Cuomo won't accept it because Cuomo has implied that he will not accept it. Then he says again, Governor Cuomo will have to let us know when he's ready for it. And finally, here's the main quote here. Here's the main takeaway. "We're ready to provide it as soon as they let us know that they'll actually use it. And again, it's a very safe and a great vaccine." It's not threatening to withhold it. So just to emphasize how manipulative the media is, let's go through the bare bones timeline. Trump announces a vaccine. The process of distributing the vaccine is to offer it to the states. The state officials accept the vaccine, distribute it to the people. The only reason Trump mentioned Cuomo is because Cuomo had heavily implied that he would not accept any vaccine from the Trump administration. So Trump make sure to emphasize that in New York, the local or the state officials will have to accept the vaccine and that they're ready to give it to them. They are ready to give it to New York. They just have to accept. That's the story. But the headline you get from all of these mainstream news outlets is Trump threatens to withhold vaccine. It's beyond logic. They're doing it intentionally. People need to start opening up their eyes to what's happening with the media in this country. There are countless examples. The mainstream media, along with the giants of big tech, have come together to form the most powerful propaganda machine this world has ever known, and we are completely susceptible to it until we can open our eyes to it. That's it. Keep your mind free.